been producing this mini-series called Buddha Goes to School about the NGO, the non-governmental organization called CASEL, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, to illustrate the fact that our national government, and I'm not talking about any particular administration. We could talk about Ronald Reagan or George W. Bush or Bill Clinton or President Obama. It applies to all of them and to every Congress that we've had in my lifetime, certainly. They are exhibiting characteristics of a tyranny, being operating outside of the rule of law. They are not bound or restricted by law, in this case constitutional law, the highest law in the land. And in the case of CASEL, what they are doing is something that I think the overwhelming majority of Americans would say is bad. We don't want it. The thing they're doing is using the power of government to establish emotional standards for children beginning at a very early age, to teach children to have certain emotional characteristics. To do this, go through this process throughout a child's education to produce adults that are emotionally uniform and that have the emotional characteristics desired by the very small number of people of enormous power and wealth who are our government, being the political parties, their politicians in office, in league with vastly, astronomically wealthy and powerful people outside of formal government, but they actually operate together as government. Most Americans would be strongly opposed to that. That's one reason the CASEL project is attempting to keep itself somewhat hidden from the public. But this is tyrannical. It's the government using its force, its authority, backed ultimately, at the end of the day, by police and military force if people don't comply, using that authority to force Americans to give their children over to the United States Department of Education, controlled by the political parties and their politicians in office, and people like the Rockefeller family, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, George Soros, a very small number of people who have explicitly expressed their dream of greater power and control over society. So that's why I've been talking about CASEL, and I'll wrap this series about CASEL up before too long and go back to the more general topic, why we are going to overthrow the government. But this is one reason our government exhibits symptoms of tyranny, and that cannot be allowed. Not for us, not for the adults, but for the children for whom we are responsible. We are responsible for protecting them from tyranny. So to do that, we're going to overthrow the government. And later in this series, I'll explain how we're going to do it. And some of you may be aware I'm going to put these ideas in an organized fashion, in greater detail, backed with more research, more citations to other published information in the form of a book. All right, thank you for watching this video. I always appreciate it. As usual, a beautiful afternoon in Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and I'm about to go help coach some first and second grade Pee-wee football players. And it's a lot of fun. Thank you.